Welcome back to another video from me, Adorabubble Dragon. Today marks the beginning of a little series that I'm doing where I watercolor different characters and then I ramble off random facts about them. This particular video is about Snow White, and before I get started, I'm going to talk a little bit about my art piece here. So I did already start with an outline that I did prior to recording, and I am mixing between a couple of different techniques throughout the video. So right here, I have used my watercolor pencils on the other side of the page, and then I used the water to pick up the color to my brush, and I started filling in the smaller areas. As with for a lot of the other areas, I filled it straight in with the water pencil and then used the water to blend out the pencil lines. To end the video, I then used the pencils to create some outlines for her, and the colors that I used for her are a red for her bow and under fabric. I used a light blue for her sleeves, as you can see me using here, a medium blue for her bodice, a light yellow for her skirt, and a mix of black and navy blue for her hair, and a mix of orange, light pink, and white for her skin tone. If I were to redo it, I'd probably do what I did for the later princesses to come in the series, where I use a light pink, maybe with a mix of white, as her skin tone turned out a little bit more orange than I anticipated. I was just going off inspiration pictures, which showed that she had more of an orange tone to her skin tone. Alright, we're going to get started with the facts though. Number 1, as most people know, she is the first and also youngest official Disney princess at 14 years old. Her time period matches up with that of the Tudor era, with the style of her most commonly known outfit, which is what I'm painting here, with the puffy sleeves that have the slits with the underneath fabric showing through, being a common outfit for this time period, which is about the 1500s. It's also important to note this for later. Number 2, adjusting for inflation, Snow White is actually the 10th highest grossing film of all time. Number 3, her story is of German origin, which isn't all that surprising with the Grimm brothers being the first noted story of her, but what is interesting is that her castle in the film appears to be inspired by Segovia Castle in Spain. Now in the movie, Snow White's castle is supposedly located in Germany, as is the prince's, and is abandoned to the magic mirror and the raven upon the close of the movie as the couple goes off to live in the prince's abode. Number 4, the prince was made a minor character of the film due to the difficulty that they had in animating him. Being the first realistically animated male of the studio, they found it difficult to portray him convincingly enough, and they cut down his role to only being required to further the story. Initially, he was supposed to be kidnapped by the Queen and held in the dungeon, where she would attempt to seduce him and revealed her plans for Snow White. When she left him there to die, he escapes and tries to find Snow White, which obviously he does not make it in time. This idea was scrapped for Snow White, but after some practice, it was brought back and adapted for Sleeping Beauty. Number 5, Adriana Caselotti, the original voice of Snow White, signed a contract deeming that her voice would only ever be used for Snow White, and as such was never featured in any other movies or TV shows afterwards. She went uncredited for a lot of her work. She also married 4 times in her life and died in 1997. Number 6, Snow White could have potentially been based off 2 real-life figures. The first, Margaretha von Waldeck, who was a German countess born to Philip IV in 1533. See, I told you that time period for her clothing was important. When she was 16, she was forced by her stepmother to move to Brussels, and while there she fell in love with the future King of Spain, Philip II. This is interesting to note considering the inspiration for Snow White's castle. Due to the politically inconvenient relationship, it was disapproved of by her stepmother, her father, and his father. She mysteriously died at age 21 due to poisoning, although her stepmother had died about 8 years prior and her father didn't remarry until after Margaretha's death, so we know that it wasn't a stepmother. Her father owned several copper mines and they exploited child labor, and so he had the children working in the mines. The theory is that the dwarves are actually meant to represent the children. The other person of interest is Maria Sophia Margaretha Katharina von Oerthel, who was born in Bavaria, Germany in the 1700s. Her father was the superior magistrate for the Prince Elector of Mainz, and she was admired by her community for her generosity and charity, and even pitied for the cruelty from her stepmother. Her stepmother, Claudia Elizabeth von Reichenstein, married Maria's father a few years after his first wife's death, and favoured her own children from her first marriage. This is similar to that of Cinderella. Maria was given a poison apple soaked in the juice of belladonna, and unfortunately did not get her happy ever after either, and died. Thank you for watching me paint and listening to my facts about Snow White. If you haven't already, check out my latest video of Wreck-It Ralph 2, hit that subscribe button and that like button, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!